Hi, YouTube. Tonight I thought I would stop by and talk a little bit more about Josephus and his mention of Jesus, the son of Ananias. I think my last video might have caused a little bit of confusion, and I'll try and clarify that if possible. But first, let's talk about how I view Josephus. Josephus is a great author, very important author in regards to the First Jewish-Roman War. He's extraordinarily important. We would know very, very little about that war without him. And he goes into a great amount of detail on certain aspects of that war. And in that sense, he's very, very important. On the other side of Josephus, you've got a person that's very unreliable, however. And to talk about a little bit about this reliability problem and why I don't think anybody can actually trust what he says, particularly when it comes to religion or superstition. This chapter, the chapter that talks about Jesus, the son of Ananias, is a perfect example. In that chapter, it's book 6, chapter 5, section 3. Section 3 there. He starts off that section talking about signs. And it's obvious that section is about signs that the temple was going to be destroyed, that the Jews missed but shouldn't have. In other words, the Jews missed a bunch of signs. They should have been able to see this coming. Hindsight 2020 and all that business, right? That's the context of this Jesus, the son of Ananias, right? But one of the other signs that he talks about there is a cow giving birth to a sheep. I mean, nobody in their right mind would believe that happened. Yet he records it as fact. Why is he recording it as fact? Because primarily a bunch of superstitious people are telling him that that's what happened. It's already passing around in oral tradition that a sign of this whole temple destruction was a cow giving birth to a sheep. So, what am I supposed to do about that mention? Am I supposed to characterize him as he's trying to demonize some type of religion, or is he telling the facts that he knows of, or is he really just into cows giving birth to sheep? As far as I can tell, he's just telling the facts that he knows. We may not like the facts that he's telling, but he seems to believe that they are true. And he's got more than one source that suggests that a cow gave birth to a sheep. And that's not the only strange thing he mentions in that particular section. And again, I would suggest that anyone please read that section because it's fascinating. And there's a lot of gems throughout the book that are fascinating. But I'll link that below. And again, it's chapter 5. It's book 6, chapter 5, section 3. But he goes through several other signs that are equally implausible. And then he comes to Jesus, the son of Ananias. So this whole section of his book is dedicated to superstition, to signs that the Jews missed. And none of it sounds plausible. Even Jesus, the son of Ananias, doesn't sound like a real guy. He sounds like a cartoon character. But I can't ignore all of the Christian symbolism in that particular part of the text of Josephus, particularly the 3 woes, the 4 winds, and the mention of the bride and the bridegroom, all 3 of which are a part of Revelation version 1. In other words, the earliest text of Revelation, which would have been written approximately 4 or 5 years before Wars of the Jews, has a mention of all that material. Now, I'm not suggesting that Josephus is reading the Gospel of John and is going, "Oh, well, this is just wrong. He's just throwing stuff out." No. That's not what I'm suggesting happened. I suspect that he's getting this through oral tradition, just like he's getting the idea that a cow was giving birth to a sheep. But Is there any truth to his statement? No, there's no truth to his statement at all. As far as I can tell, Jesus, even the Christian version of Jesus, is actually a allegory. He's just an allegorical story. I'm not seeing any facts here at all as far as that's concerned, but he's recording it as true. Just as he was recorded, the sheep came out of a cow. So I would, again, encourage anyone to read that section and let me know what you think about that too. But beyond that, I'm not really sure what the objection is to this particular section. I really don't. I know that there are probably some critical scholars out there who have a very, very different take on Christianity, who would not allow that particular material to be that early, because that would suggest that the Johannine theology is that early, which is what I'm saying. Okay. There are some Christians that use Josephus for other reasons, perhaps. Josephus is not a reliable source. He's not a real reliable source. I found him fairly reliable on the war and certainly fascinating. But as far as these superstitions and things, he's not the guy to listen to. So I'm not really sure what the objections are. And I would think that as a Christian, if there were a Christian that saw this and understood it, that they would actually like the idea that Josephus is talking about Christianity in 75, because that's 19 years earlier than the Flavian Testimonial in the other text, Antiquities. 19 years. This would be by far the earliest secular mention, if it's correct, even if it's a complete failure on the part of Josephus. You see how that works? I'm not sitting here saying that Josephus made up the theology. Not by any means. I'm saying he is hearing what Christians are saying and he got it wrong. I'm not sure why that's difficult to understand, and I'm not sure why it would be difficult to see the Christian similarities there in that particular section, because to me there are way too many parallels for all this to be a coincidence, as far as I'm concerned. Of course, I don't actually have a game in this. I don't care if it's authentic or inauthentic. I don't care if we take all of Josephus and set him on fire. It doesn't matter to my models. He's not relevant to my models. So that he works with the models is just bonus. That's all that is. And I would suggest that he would work. I would suggest that he works with my models better than he would with the consensus, but that's really not so important. It was purely secondary that I talked about him, actually. But I don't have anything based on that quote. Not at all. I don't use Josephus as evidence. Anyhow, I guess that's all I got for you. Thanks a lot, folks. Bye.